and welcome to another edition of BYOB. I am Nola Nash, and this...
I'm Laura Kemp.
And this... over there is Nancy Carey Johnson. And we are so glad, Nancy, that you are here today to join in us as we drink and talk our way through. Of course, I have the booze. I always have the booze.
I never do.
I have tea.
Oh, tea.
There we go. Tea time.
Tea's fine. I probably should have had tea.
I'm always dehydrated, I guess. I'm the dehydrated one.
You've got the water. You've got the water. So we're here today talking holiday things with Nancy because you have a book that is all festive. Laura, you've got a copy of it, don't you?
I do.
There it is.
Memories. I think I held it up before when I was reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've completed and now we're talking about it. So yes, Christmas memories.
Nancy, talk to us a little bit about Christmas memories.
Jolly is just, Jolly is joining us. She's here bumping my arm. So if you see me acting weird and twitching, it's because Jolly's the famous Jolly, infamous. Yes.
She is. Stories.
So many stories, Jolly girl. She's a Christmas dog, among others. Actually, she came to us and into our lives 8 years ago, December 3rd. She adopted us. She was out in a wick. Somebody had dropped her off and tied her up in a wicked, icy, cold storm. And it was like that for a week. And my boys saw her wandering the back roads. And finally, she, ended up on our porch. And we got her inside. She was jumping and barking on her hind legs at 5 o'clock in the morning. And the rest is history. We lured her in with venison and cranberry muffins.
The staples, right?
Yeah.
The staples. That's in. Is that in Life is Good or is that in Christmas Memories? I can't remember which.
That one's Christmas Memory. Oh, wait, which one?
The story of how you got Jolly.
Yeah, that's Christmas Memories.
Okay.
There's a Christmas dog.
Reading about it.
Yeah. So Christmas Memories came about. I'm an accidental writer. I think I told you guys. And because I really never meant to be a writer, I'm a singer-songwriter. So that I actually wrote a book was bizarre. And I don't need to tell either one of you. Once the book is written, then the real work begins.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
And especially when you know nothing about that side of the business. Sorry, Jolly is getting my attention here.
Dudley's trying to get mine.
Once again, no dogs, no drinks, no dogs. Okay.
Well, Bears is off.
There's a few around, but they're all gone.
And so I just had, there we go.
Shoulder dog.
It was a week before we were releasing Life is Good, my first book. Now I was working full time. I was a mother of 4 boys. I was married. I had, we were growing 10 acres of hemp and I was gigging. I'm a gigging musician. I had way too much on my plate and I was releasing this book. And Stephanie called me, my editor, like a week before and said, okay, so have you started your next book yet? I think it should be a Christmas book. Well, I almost it's just like, ah! So I started writing it and I just said, there's no way. Absolutely no way. So I gave it, I figured I would release it 2020. Sorry, it's all a blur. I'm not one of those people. How is it that some people really can measure time in the years? Back in 1978, I'm like, okay. Like when I was 12, I could say, but I couldn't ever begin to say 1978. I just, it doesn't compute for me. But anyway, so I started writing a few stories. I thought about my memories and a bunch of things, and I had a lot to say. God forbid I don't have a lot to say. And is there talk after death? I really hope so. Sorry, now I'm in a rocking chair, so if I'm acting weird, it's I'm twitchy.
We can all run.
There we
go.
Oh, I like it.
3 old ladies rocking on the board, talking about writing.
Yeah, but you got a reason you can be rocking sideways. Sure, I don't know.
Yeah, really. She should be rocking sideways.
Hey, if you're happy, I'm happy. Okay, now we may end up having lots of dog noise because now Bear has a sock. He's trying to play with Mia. Jolly's watching. Poopy's probably on the bed. Yeah, it's a zoo literally a zoo in my house. But anyway, so I was working on a book of critter stories, and it was just about June. It was just June, and I thought, oh crap! If I'm going to get a Christmas story, a book done, I'd really better get working on it because Christmas will be about here before you know it. Anyway, that's how it came about. And Jolly, stop it! She's banging her bowl. When Jolly gets hungry,
she knows mommy's busy, so she
bangs her bowl to let us know. And
with his nails. He has a little ceramic bowl, and he'll tap the empty bowl.
That's what Jolly does. Well, I made sure the water was full. I even gave them some crunchies, like a half a serving each for them, just to hold them over until dinner time. And apparently, it's not working. But anyway, so what else?
How is it writing a Christmas book in the summer? I mean, how do you get yourself in the mood to do that?
Getting in the mood. Well, Jolly, shush.
For a Christmas book. I mean, I know this is our show.
I was not going there, Nola. It's a really interesting thing for me because I'm one who really lives in the moment. You know, everybody says, live in the moment. You need to live in the moment. And I, because I used to live for Christmas all the time practically. And I really started living in the moment. And I don't think it's such a great thing because, for instance, it is February. I'm in Vermont. A freezing what took us off, and there are the bikinis, smaller and smaller. They want you to buy them. I'm like, what are you, stoned? I'm like, not happening. How can you even think like that? Because I'm living in the moment is the point,
Mm-hmm.
So now it's June and July and sweating like crazy. And I'm cranky in the heat. I don't love.
Me too. I don't love this one.
I hate
the heat.
Hate the cold, love the heat. Give me the heat. I mean, I grew up in Louisiana.
Yeah,
that's why. Wow, you don't have that much of an accent. That's interesting.
No, I grew up doing theater in Louisiana. I was in shows back to back, so I was trained very young to drop the accent. I can pick it up as soon as I go back down there, but
Jay is just right back with that accent. But I'll tell you, there's a little bit still because you said back shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
often.
It's very charming. So I have no clue where we were. It's a whole blur.
She likes the heat.
You were sweating.
Okay. So, for instance, now it's July. It is absolutely ungodly hot, 95 degrees in humidity. And I realized that I needed to cook a turkey because I know how to do it. I've never had to tell people or write it down so that you could reproduce it. So I found a turkey and I cooked it. Only, oops, I forgot to pay attention and I just did it and I didn't. So then I had to go get a second turkey. My family was delighted with the turkey, not so much with the heat in the kitchen. A second turkey 4 days later, and I did it again and I paid attention, only I wasn't paying enough attention and I forgot something or another. I don't remember what now. So then by day 8, now I'm looking for a turkey. Try to find a turkey in Vermont, or at least in Rutland County. I got the last turkey in Rutland County, Vermont in July. So, and it was miserable. I was sitting there cussing under my breath and laughing at myself. And I had to make peanut butter cookies and because there was recipes that I came up with right then and there. And it was hot. So it was.
Recipes. Oh, there's my dog. Did you hear him?
I did.
Is that Henry?
Henry or Josie, one of the two of them. So mine had to chime in. Okay.
We're a dog friendly group. Life is good.
We're inclusive to canines.
Absolutely. So
he's still sitting right here. He's sitting right on my lap. He's just draped across my legs.
Sweet.
So cute. Anyway, it was good. It was good that I had time to really sit there and think about it. And it was difficult sometimes, but it got me a little cooler too.
Cooled you off from that.
Yeah.
Terrible Vermont.
Cool thoughts.
I think we know nothing about heat, Nancy, you and I, as opposed to Nola. I'm sure we're.
Well, hang on. Places like Fairbanks, Alaska has 180-degree temperature shift because they're inland.
That's true.
So it gets to be 80 below and 100 above.
Oh, I thought Michigan was bad. We have a huge swing too, but
yeah,
that's worse than us.
No, it's just hot, nonstop hot.
Yeah,
always.
And
Well,
humid.
and it's the humidity, and
Oh,
the phrase. It's not the heat; it's the humidity. I mean that
it's
there's
true.
a reason people say that. And I've always said that people born in South Louisiana should have been born with gills because we really do a lot of our breathing underwater.
Quite a lot of water vapor in the air. That's what we're
Yeah. I mean, you
Science.
really got to be able to do that. Sorry, Nancy, I almost made you spit your tea out there.
That's all right. At least it didn't go out my nose. That would have been really a trick. I actually knew somebody who could, like, if she drank orange juice, somehow she could make the orange juice come out her tear ducts. So that's, I know. So if I just spit a little bit of tea, we're blessed.
That would just be excruciatingly painful.
Randy says, my sister calls that air you can wear. Yes, we call it that too. Air you can wear.
Oh, you're
well, it's weird because in South Louisiana in the summer, you want the air conditioning inside really cold because you're so hot outside. But you go inside and you get nice and cool inside for a while, and then you walk outside and you're damp because of all the condensation. Like all of a sudden, you're literally wearing the air because now you're just. It's a different kind of sticky. First you were sweating sticky. Now you're just wet.
Evaporation, condensation, precipitation, relative humidity. I'm in science class again.
You are.
No, it's meteorology. Cool.
You are. Well,
I do think of you, Nola, whenever we talk about humidity.
Yes.
In class, I always think of you. So.
See, I know so much about it. I have experienced so much humidity. And it also is cold it's wet in the wintertime too. So I have said I have been colder in South Louisiana than I have ever been anywhere else because it's such a wet, bone-chilling cold. Because
you're right.
It's really hard to warm up. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have all of these warm, spicy foods too. Is that's jumbo weather. You got to be able to warm up from the inside out because it is just so wet.
Okay, I gotta ask you this. So really, how cold is cold in southern Louisiana? So, like, I think back to relative humidity.
Well, I will tell you,
Fahrenheit.
I had no one but one aunt at my first birthday because there was an ice storm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now that was weird.
Yeah.
That was weird. And I had never seen snow fall from the sky until I was in 7th grade. So I was in 7th grade and it started to snow, and I was in PE class and I had on my little t-shirt and my shorts because I have to dress out for middle school PE, and we all ran out of the gym with our mouths wide open trying to catch snow that was like literally flurries because we'd never seen it fall before. I'd seen it on the ground. Like we went to Colorado and I saw snow on the ground, but I'd never seen it fall from the sky until I was
so cool.
And then we didn't have the right clothes for it because it didn't get that cold. So no, it's cold in Louisiana. It's 30s and 40s, but it's wet cold. But we had, y'all are gonna laugh at me, you Northerners, of how we handled going out and playing in the snow. I had on 3 pairs of sweatpants. The ones on the top were my daddy's so that they would fit over all the other pants I had on, like layering up everything we had. And then we put knee socks on our hands. And then my mom rubber banded Ziploc bags so that our hands wouldn't get wet while we were trying to like play in the snow.
And you probably got really wet because it wasn't like, it wasn't waterproof by any means.
Yeah. I mean, no, it was a disaster. But then we decided that we were going to build a snowman in our neighbor's yard because their yard was kind of big and flat and kind of a little bit up on a hill. So we rolled up all the snow in their yard and made a snowman. So it was no snow. It was just brown grass and this snowman. All the snow. That was the dirtiest, grassiest snowman. We were so proud of it.
And brownest.
And it's probably about that big. I mean, it could not have been more than
all the snow in Louisiana. Only got
all the snow
in the bottom of him. Or did you get an entire snowman?
We didn't get a very big one.
Okay, but he was all
smaller.
3 parts.
Oh yeah, we had all 3 parts.
Just
And,
small.
We actually had the carrots for the nose, and we had little sticks for arms.
That's good stuff.
But we tried really hard. But honestly, until I moved to Tennessee, that's the only snowman I ever made.
Yeah, but you know what? At least you had that life experience, and that's like really good news, right?
Yes, absolutely. But I also got a bicycle for Christmas one year, and I learned how to ride it on the dead end that we lived on in shorts.
Oh yeah.
So there's also that.
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been in shorts on Christmas. So it can be pretty warm here in Michigan sometimes.
Oh, well, yeah, here too. We have a lot of snow. It's interesting. Not only do we have the snow, it snowed, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago when I
I think I saw your pictures. Were you so excited?
I was so excited.
Excited when it snows.
It's been so still and so cold. The trees are still, all the branches are still lined with snow, which is so weird. Usually like within a couple hours, or at least the next day it's gone. Not this time.
Oh, that must be very pretty.
It's gorgeous. I'm like, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Okay, so somebody on Camp wanted to know if you were going to sing, Nancy.
Oh, I wasn't thinking so. I just did. I just sang. I mean, the only thing is, you got to sing too. What do we sing? Do you sing?
No, let it snow, let it snow. I don't know.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way.
I was singing this morning on Grace Salmon's show. We did a coffee thing, and there was a couple other people, and Grace kept it was Barbara Conry. She kind of got frozen, and so we're just sitting there, and I'm just like, nobody was saying anything. So I started singing Anticipation for just a second.
Oh, the catch-up song. No, I like it.
Well, nobody's going to say anything. I'm going to sing.
Oh, well, when I spent 25 years in Columbia County, New York, which is right next to, I don't know if somebody's home or a truck just went down, but this is the Green Committee. Sometimes it happens at 3 a.m. It's crazy. Anyway, lived right across the border from Berkshire County, which is what James Taylor sings about, Sweet Baby Jane.
Oh.
In the Stockbridge to Boston, writing the whatever it is. Stockbridge to Boston, da-da-da. Anyway, the words escape me at the moment. Children, they suck the brain cells from your head. You are never the same. And it doesn't matter how old you are. That's it.
Didn't you say in one of your stories in Christmas Memory you went to church with the Chapin brothers?
Yeah. So they were a lot older than I was. Tom, Harry, and Stevie.
Whoa.
Yeah. You stop it. That's Harry Chapin. Oh, me too.
Harry Chapin.
So I grew up on Grace Court, and Grace Church it was a cul-de-sac, one street long. It was beautiful because it had lots of big gardens, and it still has some slate sidewalks and this giant Gothic church. It's really beautiful. And at the other end is the Manhattan skyline. I mean, it's right over the BQE, and you look over the Manhattan skyline. And the Chapins used to go to Grace Church. They were, I don't know, they were 20 years old when I was. But as a singer and a musician, I was, of course, starstruck because, I mean, it was the Chapins, and they grew up there. And the time I got to go Christmas caroling with them was the most memorable Christmas caroling I've ever been. They had guitars and amps and basses and drums, like just a snare drum and a trumpet, and it was cool. It was great.
Awesome.
It was amazing.
I was starstruck reading it. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
It is so cool. It really was. I was a kid, so I was like 15. And that was
I never get those kinds of experience. I live, I'm just outside of Nashville. So we have lots of country music stars. So we see them all the time. And actually, there's probably a whole lot now. Like, I don't keep up with all of it as much as I did when I first moved here. So there's probably a whole lot I don't know. I pass them all the time. And, you look at people and go, I bet there's somebody. So it's just the way that they're dressed. And
but they're saying that about you, too. So I bet you.
I doubt that. But, I mean, I've seen Winona Judd in Target. I've seen Naomi Judd at the animal shelter. Past Keith Urban. I was going out of the mall. He was going in the mall. So Alan Jackson with his kids in the Disney store. I mean, it's like things like that. Like, I don't get to go caroling with any of them. I had Tim McGraw and Faith Hill's old swing set because my mom knew Tim's best friend. And so they were getting rid of a swing set and they gave it to my kids. So Emmylou Harris did bake me a coconut cream pie.
Who did that?
Her daughter delivered it. Emmylou Harris. Her daughter delivered it, but she did bake the pie. We actually shared a back fence with Emmylou Harris when I first moved here. So interesting celebrity encounters, but not anything like that. My daughter's music teacher is the guitarist for Sixpence None the Richer. So Sean Kelly is her music teacher, and Jack White's son goes to their school. And so Jack White's club, his record club, Third Man Records, they have a club here in Nashville. And on December 11th, my daughter gets to go play with the high school rock band at Jack White's club. And I figured that's the only time I'm ever going to be cool enough to walk into Jack White's club. So I'm going to really relish it because I doubt
I'm going to tell you something, Nola. You would be cooler walking without your daughter being there because she's going to think you're not cool. So you got to do it another time without her.
Well, she gets to go in at 5 o'clock, and then I will walk in very coolly at 7.
You won't be.
This would be cool. Right? I know, no, it's not cool. That's just being funny. The looks are not working. So, stop it, Mia.
And I have no celebrity stories. He wants no drinks, no dogs. No, well, I met Blake Shelton, but it was in in Nashville before he was famous. So I kind of hung out with him.
And he met you. And Emmy Lou Knowles got to bake you a pie. So you got to claim this, ladies. I mean, you're award-winning authors, right? So remember this. You got to claim it. I mean, I'm the world's worst fan. I worked on the original show of The Elephant Man, like very original when it was in St. Peter's Church, original. And I was supposed to, sit next to Robert Redford when he was supposed to be there. Right. And I was like 14 or 15 or something like that at the time. Right. That's exactly right, Laura. And he was, young and handsome.
The most beautiful.
Absolutely. So I'm looking around for Mr. Smith and I'm not seeing him anywhere. And this woman comes up to me. She's like, right here. And she says, pardon me, where are the seats that Jack saved? Jack was a director. And I said, I'm not sure. Who are you? She said, Celeste Home. And I went, wow. My mother loves Celeste Home. And I can't tell you how many times I've done things like that to like Art Garfunkel. Oh, I'm really the world's worst fan. Yeah. Oh,
maybe is it refreshing for them a little to have people just not, fawn over them, do you think? Maybe you're a refreshing fan. That's what we'll say.
Well, Brian Eno, who was a producer, I was in Canal Jeans at the time, and I was walking out. I was young and cute and 22 or something like that. And I had this lovely conversation with this guy. And I got home with my boyfriend, and he called all his friends and said, do you know who Nancy was talking to? And I'm like, who?
I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned Brian Eno, in the same conversation as we were talking about Emmylou Harris, because the reason she baked us the pie was because we had sent her a congratulations card because she had won a Grammy for the album that she worked on with Brian
Eno.
It was Wrecking Ball.
And great album.
God, so good.
It was terrific.
So good. But well, that's funny.
Yeah.
Where's our 6 degrees of whatever it is? 6 degrees of Brian,
Yeah, well, I talked to him. It was first degree, and I had no idea.
The music today, kids.
Yeah.
But always get back to that.
But it still got to go Carolyn with the Chapin, so that was cool. That is my claim to fame.
Nancy, do you have a favorite recipe that you have in the book? Since you've talked about baking your turkey in the middle of summer,
I have like a million of them. I really like recipes that are super easy and make you look like a kitchen goddess. I mean, we've had this.
I like that too.
Like my cranberry strawberry sauce is the easiest thing in the world, and it is so good. Herb cheese, you like boursin? Don't move your jaw when you say like boursin. It's going to be like that. Anyway, my herb cheese is pretty close, and it is 8 ounces cream cheese for $2 versus 5 ounces for $6. I don't know. Do the math, right? Almond dots. I love almond dots. They are. It's shortbread cookies with ground almonds, and then once they're cooked,
getting hungry.
Yeah, and once you, Mia. It's a very unforgiving dough. So, I mean, you can make them crescents. Yeah, I don't have a ton kind of patience. I'm always like, I try. And about 6 later, I'm like, forget that. Roll them out.
I appreciate you posting some of the recipes on Kemp too. So we're going to do a thing where she posts some recipes. Maybe I'll make a cute little graphic for it. Or
there you go. You tell me what you want, and we'll post it. And Laura had something that said,
I'm there.
Laura and I enjoy Canva. We
We
love to
enjoy
make
it.
graphics instead of writing.
Instead of doing
Music writer's block, we make graphics.
I
I
don't
have
want to teach
not,
kids. Guys make graphics.
I don't have a clue how to do that. So you ladies are goddesses, kudos. I'm sitting there going, really true. No, really. And I tell people I am, when it comes to like visual art, I am totally autistic. I have like no, I'm so bad. Like my son one time needed a poster for a 4-H and he wanted to do a boot. He was talking about leather work. Well, it was 9:30 at night, Thursday night. He needed it for Friday morning. I called my best friend and said, can we come over? Thankfully, she's artistic. And she took one look at my efforts and fell on the floor laughing. And this is not normal MO. I am so bad.
I'm not super crafty that way either, but I just really like graphics because it makes me look like I am.
Especially
I just have to move things around because I'm spatially that way. I have spatial OCD, I think, where I like things to be perfect so that the graphic design helps me, really dive into my spatial OCD. It's lots of fun. So
and I'm just sort of weird and I just do all kinds of things. It's like for me, it's just like, ooh, one more thing to be distracted by.
Yeah, one more thing to not write.
Somebody wants a book trailer? Yes, I'll do it because I don't want to be doing any of the things I need to be doing.
and yet, don't you enjoy sitting down and writing the whole process?
I do. I actually do.
Once you start, yeah, it's lots of fun. Once you start, it's starting it. That's why the NaNoWriMo we got a little bit of a jump start, and now it's lots of fun. Like, oh, I like to write.
And I needed that. I was in kind of a slump a little bit. Like I have 3 books that I was working on, kind of going back and forth between, and just really wasn't feeling any of them. And I don't like to write when I'm not feeling it because then it's no good, And I'm a moody writer. And NaNoWriMo just kind of gave me that kick in the butt that I needed. And was like, power through it. And it was something that I was interested in, very different from what I've done before. So it was a lot of fun, and I needed that kick in the pants.
Well, maybe it was you just needed the space in your head.
I think I did.
To be able to, like, percolate.
Yeah.
So when you guys write stories, I don't write novels as you do. And it's when I write, it is a lot of times it has to be connected with something else. And meaning like I look at there's a freaking mailbox down the road that if you when I pass it anyway, just at the right light, I swear to God, it looks just like an ostrich about to jump out at you. So
I want to know these people with this mailbox.
Association, is that what it is? The power.
Yeah. So for me, it's association. A lot of the time. Like the stories and Christmas memories really are memories, but even some of them are associations too. And how did I get there and why? So sometimes the point is that it's like, if I don't have the association, I have the idea, it's not coming. I can force it, but they're never good when you force it.
No, not usually.
No.
Well, ladies, let's get to what we are reading, because we've been talking about what we're writing and what we're eating and what we're cooking and who we're fangirling over. So what are we reading today? What are we reading? We have a graphic for it, but I've lost it in the comments. I've been reading the comments. So there's a graphic for this somewhere.
Well, what I'm reading, I have mine right here.
Here's our graphic. What are you reading? Look, we have a graphic. We're awesome.
We love our graphics.
There it is.
Look what I'm reading.
Laura has the art of Traveler. She's got an advanced review copy of Traveler. So I'm excited about that one. That one's coming out March 10th of 2022. So
nice.
And I made a TikTok.
You made a TikTok. I know.
It's on TikTok now. It got almost, I have a spider on my book. It had almost 500 views. That's pretty cool. I'm going to keep playing around with it. So yeah, I'm reading Traveler. I'm enjoying it. It's very, I like Indiana Jones. It's very Indiana Jones-ish to me. Very, very Indiana Jones Last Crusade-ish.
I'm going to have to read that.
Nola's really good at her research. I mean, you dive into these places and you feel like you're in these exact locations. I'm enjoying it. And I read it every night before I go to bed. I'm a notoriously slow reader. I apologize.
Well, I am reading, speaking of research, I'm reading eyewitnesses at the Battle of Franklin. It's actually a very small book, and all the sticky notes because it goes with the book that I am working on right now. Working on it's called House of Mirrors that has to do with the Battle of Franklin, and today is the anniversary of the Battle of Franklin. And so it was known as the 5 bloodiest hours in the Civil War. And so it is fascinating to read these eyewitness accounts from various people, both Union, Confederate, civilian, children that were kind of caught in the middle of it at the time. Very fascinating stuff. I do tend to go down rabbit holes with my research because I enjoy the research process as much as I enjoy the writing. So
making those graphics.
And making the graphics. I love to do that. But I'm reading that. So it's not, it's not a novel by any means.
Are you reading it for research?
Research. Yep. So I'm including I'm doing a dual timeline, and one of the timelines is the Battle of Franklin, but it's being told by kind of the unnamed people who went through it. So that the officers, they feature in it a little bit as we have to give them as a point of reference for what they're doing, but it's largely the story of those that were kind of the unknown soldiers who were fighting in the war in the trenches and the people that were impacted. So they're anonymous. They're known as the men, the soldiers, the woman, the man. So they're the people who history did not give a name to, but it is their stories. So they're
going
stories
to the reenactment?
Tonight I'm going to, yes, it's they're doing an illumination at one of the houses that was ground zero for the Battle of Franklin. And they are doing illuminations for lighting candles to represent the 10,000 casualties, the combined casualties on both sides, 10,000 of both Union and Confederate casualties. So we're going to that tonight.
That's cool. I mean, it's hard. But it's cool.
It is very, very powerful to read about this and just the variety of people who were impacted by something like that, especially when it happened basically in town. It was, not out on some field somewhere. It was in town. And so it was powerful stories.
You're giving a lot how these are nameless people, but you're telling their stories, and that's cool. That's a really cool process.
Yeah, and that was important to me, especially with the 10,000 who suffered. And there were 41 field hospitals in town. 41 buildings were used as field hospitals, and that's a lot of history that is acknowledged, but not really explained, not really told the way that it deserves to be told here in our small town, and really anywhere that things like that happen. There are those few places, Shiloh, Gettysburg, we know those, Appomattox, but these other battles that happened were no less tragic, and so they deserve the recognition, and the story deserves to be told. And so that's one of the dual time. It's the dual timeline. So there's a modern, and then there's the 5 bloodiest hours that goes through this book. So researching that has really been fascinating.
Wow, that's great. That's cool.
What you reading?
Nothing at the moment. At this exact moment, I'm out. No, it's the truth. I've been so busy and working and crazy, and I'm doing lots of events at the moment. I'm going down to the Northshire Bookstore in Manchester, Vermont, which is a cool, beautiful place, and it really looks a lot, especially this time of year, like it's out of a Norman Rockwell book, and I used to live in Norman Rockwell country, so I love them. So I'm just sort of like powering through. I've got parties and cooking and baking to do, and events and samples, and not today. maybe a week or two.
No books today.
No books today. That's okay. We've had lots of great folks that have been tuning in and joining us in the comments. Denise, Sharon, Diane, Bambi, Nancy, Angela, and Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but we're so glad you joined.
Love you anyway, Facebook.
We love you, Facebook user. That's okay. I'm in the.
Hi from Boston.
It'll show up. Yes, from Boston. So yes. Hi from Boston.
Idea.
You are. But it's been a lot of fun having everybody join us. Nancy, tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs.
Well, you can find me at nancycareyjohnson.com. You can find me on Facebook, which is where I got my start. You can find books on Amazon or also through nancycareyjohnson.com. And because you ladies know, bookstores don't like to order through Amazon. There's some weird something going on there, like competition. But because I'm also with Ingram Sparks, you can get the book anywhere through any bookstore because they work with them. Yes,
they do.
Love
it.
Such a pretty cover.
I know. I need to get me one of those. It's so festive.
Love my Christmas. Love my Christmas.
I do,
guys, it'll make you feel happy and warm and fuzzy.
It's not just Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, it's fall, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's New Year's, it's Hanukkah a little bit. It's winter and snow and dogs and
all the good stuff.
Yeah,
all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And lots of great recipes and food.
So hungry.
I know. All right. Well, ladies, it sure has been fun. I have got to get to the illumination. So
fun.
Go to that. But Nancy, thank you so much for joining us on the show. This has been so much fun. And Laura, thank you for reaching out to Nancy and getting her on for us. This has been really a joy. Laura, always fun to hang out with you too.
Yeah.
Speaking of thankfulness, I'm super thankful for you and our friendship and getting to do this show for so long. So,
ditto, my friend.
I love this.
I can see that like that. I mean, does that? I don't know who I'm pointing at. Maybe this way.
Or the opposite way. Thank you for both ladies.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure. You ladies are really a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for singing for us. Yes.
And with me. Next time we'll do harmony.
There you go.
Ooh, I'm bad at harmony.
I'm good at harmony. You can sing melody.
I'll sing melody.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you. And happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Same for all of you out there. This has been a copywritten podcast of Authors on the Air. And until next time, BYOB.